Are you ready to amplify your voice and grow your business or a personal brand? Imagine reaching thousands of listeners, sharing your passion, and making an impact, all through your very own podcast. Join our upcoming workshop, Podcasting 101, designed just for you. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur, a seasoned professional, or just passionate about sharing your own story, we will equip you with all the tools that you need to start your podcasting journey. Don't miss out. Visit passionatepulse.com/workshops and do secure your spot today. That's passionatepulse.com/workshops. Let's make your voice heard. Have you got a passion project that lights you up but needs some more insider tips to take it to the next level? Bootstrap Banter is your new go to podcast. We are all about real talks and no fluff. Just actionable advice and inspiring stories from people like you who turn their passion into a thriving projects and then to startups. Whether you're just starting out or already on your way, we have got the strategies to help you push you through the roadblocks. In this series, you will hear real world strategies to grow without burning out or breaking the bank. Honest, no nonsense advices to help you level up your passion project. Whether it's marketing, scaling, or just finding the right directions, we are here to help you thrive. Book your strategy session today. Go to passionatepulse.com and contact, or just buzz us on WhatsApp or text us on 341 209 0102. That's passionatepulse.com, one stop shop for your bootstrap banter. Namaskar, welcome to the Passionate Pulse podcast, Bootstrap Banter series. In the Bootstrap Banter series, we discusses all the fundas that I implement in my very own passion project. And those are the same fundas as I'm learning, as I'm adopting, as I'm implementing. I'm sharing with all of you passionpreneurs so that you can succeed in your own passion projects. So, well, if you are looking forward for an accountability partner, at the same time learn something new or get some new methods to implement in your own passion project, this is a perfect podcast that you have tuned in to start executing in your passion project with the skeleton or the structure, the discipline methodology that we implement in the Bootstrap Banter. Well, if you're someone who is tuning in new to the Passionate Pulse podcast, and if you're someone who has a passion within you and looking to unfold and create this 2025 a very big success for yourself, then you have tuned to the right podcast. So, well, Happy New Year, all of you. I hope this particular 2025 brings you a new hope, amazing joy, and a great enthusiasm to keep yourself at your passion directory, to keep your needle in the right direction where you grow your passion from zero to scale one and convert it as a startup, and going forward grow that as a small scale business. So that's where we are looking forward for this entire Bootstrap Banter, a very pre-accelerate stage where we want to guide all of you, whether it's a tech startup to non-tech, whether you are just starting a small scale project or you are on a project and moving forward with it to scale up, you will get some of the other wisdom pearls from this particular podcast that you can implement, execute. Well, and on top of it, there are a lot of workshops that we do, and there will be a new cohort that will be beginning from third week of Jan. And there is one workshop that talks about the podcasting 101, and there are more other workshop series that will be coming in. So stay tuned and stay happy with the Passionate Pulse. Before we dwell into this particular new year, I would really like to give you a great shout out. If you're someone who have survived entire 2024 with a great passion project, maybe you achieve certain milestone and you have locked it, or maybe you're someone who have implemented for the entire year and have achieved a smallest milestone or the smallest win, then I must thank you for doing what you did, taking out the great time from your family, from your work, or whatever is your situation, and you definitely deserve a great pat on your back. So if there is no one giving you pat on your back at this particular moment, the Bootstrap Banter is with you. It is backing you and asking you to take that wow moment for yourself as you gear this particular new year with a great zeal, with a great enthusiasm, and looking forward to create your dreams, looking forward to execute what you were supposed to set out to do, or looking forward to implement your passion project with the new great new strength, and a new vision. So let's deep dive what this 2025 year is going to look like for you, how you would like to unfold, and what type of help you would like to note down. So, my first and a very most request to all the passionpreneurs is note down your goals if you still haven't, with our previous episode that actually talked about a great detail exercise that how would you like to plan your year while you retrospect your 2024. If you haven't tuned into that particular podcast, I must appeal you to go forward and look up that previous Bootstrap Banter episode that talk about how you should be retrospecting your passion project, how you should be defining the goals, and how you should be taking your learning lessons to implement and execute a right action plan that will propel you towards the right direction versus you putting a lot of efforts and sweating and burning yourself and finding yourself at a lost stage. Do that exercise before you dwell on to any other goal settings. But nevertheless, goal setting is important. And if you have already done that, you have put certain big goals on your project plan for the entire year. If you haven't really derived the milestones that you're looking out to achieve and not working out the right sequential milestones, then I think you have a recipe for failure. So, why don't you go ahead and create your own milestones, which are achievable, measurable, and the SMART goals that we call in? So, go ahead and do that exercise. If you already have your quarters, your months, and your weeks lined up, then you are at a great shape. If not, then you would like to do that exercise. And for that, we have few templates, we have few habit trackers to goal trackers to even going and creating certain discomfortable exercises for you. Go ahead to passionatepulse.com and look up on the ebooks and see which ebook is something that you would like to start with to get there. So there are a lot of templates for the new year gift that I have added. There are around 5 or 6 templates that can help you stay on your mission in a very focused view, that can give you certain exercises to create your own vision board, that can also give you some routine builder templates that you need to track your routine or create some course action plans, as well as there are certain great social media engagement templates. If you are someone who is building your passion project, if you are someone who is building your own startup, then certain distribution channels that you should not be missing out, and what is the way to go forward. I think that is a how to recipe that is cooked in those ebooks. I'd like to request you, if you are someone who is looking forward for that proven methodology that exists and have used by many others, then those are the templates that are out there that I have put it. Those are the same templates that I'm working with for my own passion projects, for lot of strategic clients who are working with me on their passion projects. They are using the same proven recipe that you're gonna walk away with those hands-on exercises for do it by yourself way. And I'm very sure as a passionpreneur, you will like to do that first versus going ahead and working with someone. At the max, you would need someone as an accountability partner, and feel free to pick your own from your passionpreneur circle. And if you don't have any as of now, then I must ask you to join a passionpreneur journey, which we are unfolding with Passionate Pulse podcast. Go ahead and sign up for the newsletter. And there is a new challenge that we are doing it together that will open in second week of January, not the first week of January. And purposely, we are doing it for the second week of January. That's when people are absolutely settled down from the bubble and hype that they're creating for their entire New Year resolution. So, those who are on the track, I believe they would be start working with the right intention, and they are very much thorough and filtered out all the noise where they want to focus. So that's when we have targeted the dates. If you are someone who is looking forward to that journey, which is free of cost, you would be taking certain exercise and implementing it and sending us back as an accountability partner. And we are someone who will be helping you guide through and towards the every milestone, which is a quarter milestone that we are looking out. And those who are reaching those milestones, we have some great gifts, we have some great workshops and great events to walk into. So don't forget to sign up for that particular newsletter on passionatepulse.com and get ahead and boost your journey as much as you can by finding your accountability partners, by finding the right exercises. Be someone who can help you track your own metrics. Well, so as we gear up this particular year, there are a lot of methods, There are a lot of disciplines that everyone is looking forward to implement. And if you are someone who is looking forward to having a great discipline, but at the same time, that discipline should be a very much doable discipline. It should be within the time budget that you have, as well as within the lifestyle that you have. So that's the exact discipline that you have to curate. You cannot sign up for something which is miles away from you, or which is not in your routine yet, and you're just striving very hard to get something. Always remember, Rome was not built in a day, right? It took a lot of years to build that kind of an empire, to build that kind of a culture. Or if you look at any big companies, they have not been started from zero to 100 scale. There were a lot of reverse journeys have also happened. So consider yourself in the same bucket, be humanized with your own discipline, and see that there are chances that you may pitfall. There are chances that you can get up and start walking. There are places, or there might be at times where you will be just running off. But in order to run off, you have to remember this is a marathon, not a sprint. So, every small journey, every small step is working towards your bigger mission. And that's where we have to acclimatize with the right discipline and get into the shape of routine. So, the first and a very most message that I have for all of you is simplify. Simplify as much as you can if you are looking forward to build any new things, whether it's a discipline for your project, whether it's a lifestyle for your health, or whether it's a passion project discipline that you would like to bring and execute. Try to simplify as much as possible. So, if you're thinking about going and starting at a 10 scale, simplify it to a 0 scale and start from there. That's when the wins are measurable, and you want to start your year on that positive note to finding out the wins that are achievable and working towards the smaller wins, which together will lead to create a bigger milestone or the bigger wins that you're looking forward in your business, in your passion project, or any hobby sides or the side gigs that you're looking out. When it comes down to getting things done under the pressure, if you are working on your passion project or the side gigs, you have your 9 to 5 job or the work situation to deal. On top of it, you have your family setup to deal with. So we are always crunch on something or the other to come into that pressure situation. So few might be doing it wonderfully, but there are always chances that there are sleeping corners that do exist. That's where this Navy SEAL method or the style is what I like to unfold in front of you. This Navy SEAL approach is a very productive focus, and it revolves around a very certain discipline, a great clarity, and an execution that you can visualize within your budget. Those are the principles that we will talk in our first half, and then we'll dwell into certain exercises and talk about certain great examples who have absolutely mastered these Navy SEAL principles and have simplified their vision, simplified their actions, yet have achieved the great milestones that we are looking forward as a case study to observe. So here it is, the first and a very important note to start with. We have to prioritize, and we have to prioritize ruthlessly. If you're onto any passion project, if you're on any mission on your side gigs, or if you're someone who has deep dived into your own startup and doing some bootstrap banters there, the first and the foremost focus and a mission you like to do it is prioritize on a very ruthlessly. You cannot be everywhere. You cannot be doing all the things. You have to have a priority matrix set. And how you can set up that particular priority matrix? There is a template out there on the passionatepulse.com. Go ahead and check the ebook section. You might find a template that will resonate you to give you the priority matrix, or build something by looking at right quotients, and get and jot down the highest most priority milestones that you would like to achieve in this particular quarter, or bring your mission over there. So those are certain help books that you can use it, and just do it by yourself way. So my first question is, whenever you are prioritizing, the first most question you should be asking about it, is it some task or is it some goal that you are putting forward is yielding what? Is it yielding you to get to your long term mission? Is it something that is very important for you to get it done so that you can achieve certain lifestyles, like whether it's a monetary basis, whether it's a health side basis, or whether it is some activity that is contributing you towards your learning curve? So just find out where that equation fits whenever you are picking up any extra bucket, or whenever you are picking up any extra task, or whenever you are picking up any extra things that will come on your time critical way, because everything demands time, and you have to be very very vigilant about how you will be shelling out your time currency. So just focus on that, and also start prioritizing a particular task or a particular choice hobby you are picking up, or wherever you are looking forward to divide your time, whether the particular activity, the engagement is bringing you something very important which will drive to your goals, or it is very urgent and you cannot escape it. Maybe it's a family thing and you have to pay attention to it. Maybe it's a work situation where you will have to pull out and stretch yourself extra so that you can conquer the most out of it. Whatever it is, you have to figure out and filter out that noise that will come on a way. No matter how great you can plan a day on a paper early in the morning, or maybe prior night, there are always chances that something or the other is going to show up as an unknown or uncertain way and is demanding your time. So just assess it. And I think once you assess it, it is easy to say no. The trap of saying, I don't know how to say no is, first of all, you're not very clear where you're going to head up. And that's where anything and everything that comes in your way, you're going to say yes to it. I was one of them who have experimented that a lot, have planned a great day, plan a great week, plan a right task on my way. But when something or the other comes up as a shiny syndrome, I have said yes to those because that was sparking me a joy, that was sparking me some new opportunities, that was sparking some great learning that I thought it will one day I will be enjoying all those things. And I had signed up to multiple projects, multiple tasks, multiple opportunities. And then towards the end, I have lost myself into a great noise. So I think you have to understand what is noise and what is not. And for that, you have to have a great mission and a direction planned. So unless you have that, you would not know what is right for you and what is not right for you. So that has to happen. And that's where you have to prioritize really ruthlessly and staying focused on your upper three goals, which you would like to achieve in a particular quarter, in a particular month, and a particular week. After that, elimination round becomes a super easy task. Saying no becomes an easy go, and it doesn't even pinch. As a person, that there are many of us who feel saying no means rejecting someone and giving that negative quotient to whatever that you are saying no to. However, saying no is actually thanking others because you are not overcommitting them to something where they should be counting you in, versus you are creating the right metrics, right expectations, and it's win-win for both. So saying no is very hard, but saying no is also a win for both the parties. So if you approach and rephrase your no in a right way, I think there is no guilt bucket that you will get into. But after prioritizing and focusing on your mission, this is an easy to do task. The next thing is, of course, planning with a simplicity. KISS. Keep it simple and stupid. There is a whole lot of podcast episode that I have put together. Go ahead on Passionate Pulse podcast for whichever podcast mediums you are tuning in, apart from the radio, and get ahead and learn how to do that simplification and get clear and actionable terms and tasks, and being very action oriented in terms of working on your own project, starting from specifying your draft lines to even executing something and achieving the milestones. So overloading your unnecessary details but creating everything with a simplicity is a great mantra that you can sign up for this year. So that's my mantra, by the way. I am looking forward to simplify every project that I am taking in and starting very small, creating myself yourself at a place where there is a easy win first and going forward from there versus running for a complex win and then burning out myself. Burning out is a real issue. Let's talk about it some other episode, but that's where you like to go with the simplicity. And after that, of course, as you talk about the simplicity, breaking down the small wins leading to the big victories, I don't have to deep dive on it. So identify what really a success looks like for you, break it into the actionable steps, and start executing. Launching, start, and working at it relentlessly is what is gonna give you those big victories. Execution is the key. So, taking action now than later should be the mantra for every one of us who is committed towards some of the other side gigs, passion projects, and the startups that you're building up. The Navy SEALs, that's one thing that they are very focused and principle oriented is action beats the hesitation. There is no way that you are putting your excuse shields. There is no way to stay behind the track unless you have the actions in place. Whenever in doubt, do something that's productive. This doesn't mean that you have to rush. It does mean that you have to commit something to progress rather than procrastination and staying over and cooking with the perfectionist recipe. That's not gonna help either. So, talking about the perfection, the embracing 80% of the solution should be your another way to look at any task that you are looking forward to complete. Look at the high stake environment. They are not really waiting to be a very perfect. Check any product out there in the market today is perfect today, but was never perfect in the previous journey or the previous steps that you have walked into. Everything evolves. The product evolves, the software evolves, the human evolves, environment evolves, the ecosystem evolves. Everything is an evolution. So the change is something that we are signing up. So don't strive too much. If you have achieved something 70 to 80%, I think that's a good enough to start and move forward. So avoid waiting for that perfection dilemma, but just go ahead and hit your progress bar with that 70 to 80% of a win. And that's a recipe of many successful entrepreneurs have embraced this particular mantra and have really achieved a lot and celebrated their wins. Many a times as a passionpreneurs, we don't celebrate because we really don't acknowledge that. And that's where you would like to, move forward. And that's the skeleton that you should be approaching. That's one of the key metrics to work and also to retrospect your wins. Of course, nothing comes if you don't learn, you don't adapt, and be ready for unexpected or unknowns that is gonna come. Some magical ways that can boost your projects. Some can also be at a place where you're not making the wins, but it can also a reverse journey or a backward journey kind of a way. But that's something we are here for. We have to constantly adapt, work, and evolve with our own to-do list. Things change. We have to change. Lot of interruptions, lot of distractions are gonna come in a way that can demand your attention. But I think unless and until some last priorities are not urgent or important, you still have to navigate yourself towards something that you have to adopt but yet contribute towards your long-term vision. And reviewing and readjusting is something that you should be doing on a very weekly basis. This is something I'm gonna implement in my own passion project. Every week, I'm gonna sit and retrospect my entire week. Every week, retrospection, I think, is another simplification that is I have added to my own disciplines. Everyday retrospection is good, but sometimes or the other, it doesn't happen. And eventually, I have realized that habit tracker is not happening. So ultimately, we lose the track of retrospection. So, versus committing yourself once a week or committing yourself once in 2 weeks, I think that's a good milestone to retrospect back and find out what was the noisy factors that you added in, how you want to cut it down and cut it down on time versus cutting it down towards the end of the 3 months. So I think that is something we have to control. And that's how you will be controlling your environment and eliminating distractions. So that is another thing you like to adopt. I am going to do that. Let me know what you will be adopting in terms of your own retrospections. Regarding controlling the environment and eliminating distractions, I like to add one more point. I definitely turning off unnecessary notification. There are hundreds of apps on my own phone Sometimes there are productivity apps, sometimes there are project apps, there are different medias or different notifications that I have signed up to. But this time of the year, the first week of January, I'm going to observe my trains of notification, which are my trigger points to go and jump on something that is not planned out for an hour. And those are the notifications I'm looking out to turn off, be it a email notification, be it the phone notification, or be it any other calendar alerts that you're putting into yourself, which is making you rush, creating some urgency kind of a situation to distract yourself from your existing task. Because let's admit, not each one of us can really plan great and on a practical note. Whenever we sit for the planning, we do a very optimistic planning, and that's where we kind of slip off from the task, and then we keep creeping about like I could not achieve certain things in the right timeline or certain financial budget, because at that time we have not calculated those xyz factors, which would have led to stretched timelines, which would have led to financial timelines, or the budgeting that literally cropped away. So that's where this reviewing and looking at that workspace in a very disciplined way can help you. And sticking to the pre planned blocks versus a time block that you are adding it, I think that will add up more meaning to it. So I am going slowly away from the time management part of a day or a week, versus I'm planning a blocks and not planning many blocks in a week. Let's say there are 7 days. I don't want to plan seven big blocks, versus I would plan one big block of the work to be done or one big goal to be achieved. And then from there, I would plan some pleasurable wins and some non pleasurable wins where I have to really work hard. So that's how I'm planning to control my own environment. Let me know what is your recipe to do that, what you're looking forward to build a discipline around, and what are your metrics when it comes down to create a discipline, create a win measurement, create a retrospecting measurements. Let me know. I'm open for understanding new ways to look at it, new ways to build upon my own passion project. And if you're someone who is really have implemented that and have seen success towards it, I think I'd like to talk to you on the Bootstrap Banter episode and discuss further, like how somebody can simplify with your own methods that you have discovered, or maybe it is a method that you have assembled and create a perfect recipe for a personality like you, who might be procrastinating, might not be procrastinating, who might be something all the time up and having a great energy quotient to work in the night or in the daytime. Whatever it is, everybody has those unique strengths, and that's how every discipline is different for every individual. Some disciplines work for someone, some disciplines don't work for someone, and that is the reason behind it. So I'm here to understand what has worked for you and what is your personality, or when it comes to work disciplines or project discipline, what really dives you deeper, or what really drives you to get there. So I'm open to feedback. Write me on pranali at passionatepulse.com, and I would love to know and feature your story, be it in our newsletter, be it in our project planners, or be it on the podcast. So do let me know about it. So as we talk about, relying on certain discipline, the one and a very important factor that drives your discipline is your motivation. I mean, it's a little bit of a complex when, when I have to really unfold this episode, saying that these are like A, B, C, D type of a things you have to adopt. But at the same time, you have to focus on your motivation, create some vision behind it. Maybe it's a vision board is a technique that will work with you, maybe it's some daily reminder technique that will work with you, but that is where you are driving to create your passion project. When it comes down to motivation, it should be absolutely starting on 100 note. That's when you can build your great empire of a passion project. But there are days, trust me, there are days when this motivation just becomes a feeling, and the discipline is not there to get the job done. And that's where things fall apart. This is where the discipline comes into the picture, and you have to rely on a discipline over the motivation. If I have to talk with this Navy SEAL way, the SEALs don't wait to feel like it. They follow the routine and execute it no matter what. If you come to that zone, I think sky's the limit for you. Applying in this, in the situations whenever you feel this is not my time to do it, just get over that feeling. And as soon as you get over, the better the wins are. Setting a starting time and sticking to it sometimes can feel more motivated or more disciplined. See what works for you. Sometimes building certain habits. For example, if you have to start some unpleasant task, building some pleasant environment around it can help you get into start that task or execute your goal or work on certain routine or a mundane task that you otherwise feel that it's an attempt to again get into the some kind of an unhappy mode. You might want to check on that. There are different habit trackers that we have put it on in our ebooks. See what works for you, what discipline can help you build project. Adopt to one methodology, try at least for a month and see whether that has worked or no. So that's where relying on a discipline over motivation can achieve you a success in the longer term versus relying on a motivation and doing it as and when alike. So you want to see whether you want to come as a seasonal mode entrepreneur or you want to be a very disciplined entrepreneur. The discipline will come or take you a far ahead in your journey versus what you're thinking about, working on a seasonal projects. So that's where this discipline is something that you really have to think about. And as I said, like, in order to be a continuous improvement in yourself, we have to continuously reflect back. Every mission, think about it as a battlefield. Think about it, there are milestones. Think about there is a strategy. Think about it that there is a reflection points that you have to touch. Identify certain obstacles, certain milestones, certain inefficiencies that you have done or planned, whether you fail to plan well, whether you fail to execute well, or whether you fail to achieve certain things that have caused tremendous backlog in your milestone. And there is something around it. There is no way that you cannot point out or trigger out that point unless you really debrief to yourself or reflect on yourself what really went well and what really didn't go well. That's where you will find out certain patterns within you that are not matching or that needs to be changed or that pattern has to be broke. How to break that pattern is another discussion to have. We'll come and touch base that point at some of the other point. Or if you sign up for our community, if you sign up for the newsletter with the Passionate Pulse podcast, you will be walking away with those daily small exercises that we publish and that can help you go far beyond. I always recommend doing something with yourself is an investment in your own skill building, in your own strength building, and doing it over and over is the absolute recipe or is an absolute secret sauce to create yourself or establish yourself at certain milestone way. So see that works or no. If this has worked for you, let me know. Also, let me know in this Bootstrap Banter episode what all things you like to hear further. What is that passion project that you are working on and where you may need help? Do you need some strategic help? Do you need some execution wings? Do you need some operational help or you need somebody to help you retrospect on your own passion projects? We are here to deep dive with you. Just book a call on passionatepulse.com. Go to passionatepulse.com and book a call. Book a strategy call or find out the services that you like to tune in with, and we are here to help you as your accountability partner. And of course, to push your project from scale 0 to scale 10. That something is my mantra. And a wonderful mantra that I'm adopting for this particular year is slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Again, that's a Navy SEAL technique. SEALs are absolutely trained to operate with a wonderful precision and under the pressure method. Instead of rushing and focusing on doing something and very deliberately, or sometimes even pushing yourself too hard but not achieving it right, is not something gonna yield you the right results. So that's where this methodological work and fewer mistakes and ultimately completing your task in a better and a amazing way is what matters the most. So that's where I'm planning to adopt slow it smooth. Sometimes you would like to slow down because you want to work with the precision and you also want to fear your mistakes. So whether that slowness is coming up in your way because you are putting out time to learn, build your skills, strengthening something that you are not at, I think all of it together, if it is slowing down your process, it is still worth it towards the end of the day because you're going to achieve a success out of it. Whether you need to call upon a mentor, whether you need to work with somebody else, whether you need certain course to be signed up, I think doing all that and adding more time to it, but once you're ready for it, then you can spin your execution wheels on a very fast note. And that's where The slow is smooth and smooth is fast is an interpretation that I like to just unfold to you. So that's where you have to simplify like a seal. This is a Navy SEAL episode, and that's where I would like you to transform your mindset, to work your to do list, to plan your projects, and have a powerful mission in the plan. Don't set out for something very small, set out for something as your dream project, and from there break down and set out to the smallest stepping stone that you can easily conquer. Always, whenever in doubt, catch hold of the lowest hanging fruit that's ever exists and start attempting from there. And build upon from there and build upon the strengths, build upon your skills, build upon your execution wings, build upon your teams accordingly so that you can attempt more and more complex projects. You can scale up great. So that is the productivity engine, which is a Navy SEAL method that I unfolded to you. So take a control of your day, take a control of your project, take a mission and start now. If you have any questions, if you have any hesitations that I don't know how should I be more disciplined in a way, what type of things I should be tapping onto, are there any different apps to tune in that can help my life easy? Are there any templates that I can just use it on my day-to-day basis versus consuming myself with several other apps and notification and bombarding myself? I mean, there are ways to do it, but find out what works best for you. People like me are absolutely tuned in with the digital technology, and I feel apps sometimes are the right way to automate my tasks, automate my planners, automate my project things. There are times that certain areas don't fit with that, and where I absolutely go back with a very traditional method where I write my own journals, where I create my own template, and I track my own metrics with that, and that works for me. Find out the areas where you want to tune in with technology, where you don't want to tune in with technology, but towards the end of the day, find out a discipline that works for you, and that itself is a project that you can have, which is on the sideline running for you. For that, you have to give yourself a chance, experiment certain tools, technology and non-technological, or the traditional methods, to see what works for you. Well, if you're not someone have not find out a right project planner, Notion is the one that I use it for myself, and that has kept me far ahead in my project planning, far ahead in doing my retrospecting, and far ahead in building a team and giving them a task, or find out where all of us are aligning to in order to contribute towards one of the project. That has really saved a lot of time from my own efficiency metrics, and I think that has saved a lot of my productive time from my own core project that I have to implement. So I adopt to that methodology. There is a link out in the description of the podcast that you can sign up. If you're someone who is listening this episode on the radio, go ahead to passionatepulse.com, check out the ebook and check out the Notion template that I'm talking about, and sign up to that tool if that is something that is of interest to you. Of course, we are here to take your feedback and listen to the new tools that you are implementing in your own passion project to boost your productivity, to boost your efficiency. And I'm absolutely open to take your suggestions and implement my own. So do write it to Pranali at passionatepulse.com. I read each and every email and do give you the feedback, or do listen to what you're saying, or also open enough to adapt to the new technology tools or efficiency methods that somebody else has used and proven. So don't forget to write me back. I'll also like to go more deep with the methodology that I just mentioned and help you understand that there are certain easy ways and the phrases that you should absolutely adopt. First, the only easy day is yesterday. We don't know what's gonna come today, we don't know what's gonna come tomorrow, but certainly yesterday was an easy day. So does it today is going to be tomorrow's yesterday. So that should be the motto, to work forward for your pursuit, work forward for your passion project, looking at every day as an opportunity to push yourself more harder and achieve more. So that is something that you would like to remember. And getting uncomfortable with the comfort, getting comfortable being uncomfortable. First, the moment you get too much comfortable with something, it is a time to become uncomfortable with that zone and push yourself hard and take up a smallest challenge that will drive towards uncomfortability. Is the only way you can succeed in your passion project, in your startups, or whatever that you're set out to do. Because every time adopting to the newer ways, progressing from there is a complex journey. So that means you have to be uncomfortable and get comfortable with that zone. And that's where the progress happens, right? That's all I had to mention. Obviously, I like to mention and deep dive certain case studies with you which have implemented this Navy SEAL. The one and a very close example that we all of us are observing in a day-to-day life is an Amazon. It is a perfect example when I have to talk about prioritize ruthlessly and execute relentlessly. So that is where this Amazon example I like to mention. Jeff Bezos has emphasized wonderfully on the relentless focus on a customer experience that Amazon has got in. And that's one of the critical and a breaking point mission that they are signed up to. Always they are prioritizing their customers, their shipping, their expensive product catalog, or their intuitive interface. Whatever it is, Amazon is revolutionizing, taking the e-commerce to the next level. With the Amazon Prime also they are experimenting and they're very much focused on what is working, what is not, what to cut as a noise and what to factor in as a priority, and which particular success engine that you like to churn for the longer term, and they are prioritizing that part. So I think that's where the companies are succeeding with innovation one at a time, not all at a time, and starting with small hooks to bigger blocks is what is their journey is always been. Amazon started with selling the books, moving into more broader retail industry to even cloud computing, which is an engine that they designed for themselves, and then finally that they decided to rent it out and have created a different technological innovation that nobody had thought would exist. So this is how the journey starting from a very simple journey to making it very complex. It never starts from achieving it to complex and starting small. It is always start small and grow big. The another example of a perfect discipline that has come in a way as a seal execution engine is a SpaceX. Elon Musk SpaceX. That means a discipline equals freedom. And that's a discipline that we see that the SpaceX has adopted it. And Elon Musk in a way have instilled a culture of, rigorous testing and discipline engineering practices that has taken or enabled SpaceX to reduce the cost and reusable wonderful ways to even build a rocket and a spaceship to meet a tight deadlines in a very very regulated aerospace industry which was having the monopoly of parts, costing wonderful budgets for small parts. This industry was built with a certain secret sauce and nobody had it. But the moment Musk started building this rocket pipeline, I think different things shaped up and also challenge the existing industry where the cost cutting can happen, and even the government now is looking at how to save a cost with him, and that's the success of how that freedom somebody can achieve. So that is where the discipline process, allowing companies nowadays to innovate very safely, very efficiently on a very tight budget and disrupting the whole market in a particular industry that we are looking forward. So disruptions are easier then, but for that you have to adopt to certain disciplines and commit to certain constraints, and from there you have to innovate. So think about it, if SpaceX could do it, so you can. Your project might not as big as a SpaceX, but for sure it is as big as a SpaceX for your own milestone to achieve and apply from it. Look at how that discipline can take you further. The other example with the must that I must tell you is embracing the suck that can come on a way. You remember that there was a Tesla time that had faced wonderful or that has faced significant adversity, negative publicity to the year. In fact, they have even gone near to the bankruptcy in 2008, where skepticism from the auto industry and different adverse media is talking about the must challenge of creating an electric vehicle seems like a dream impossible or the mission impossible. But I think they pushed through that production hell. They pushed through whatever the Roadster as their first model, which was highly critically acclimatized. But I think towards the end, what we see towards the Model 3 journey is a perfect engine to create electric cars at an affordable rate, to drive with the passion and fashion, and grinding and solving that one problem of electric cars can be an affordable model. Electric cars can be a fashion statement. Electric cars can be a statement in your own portfolio. So I think looking at how the unknowns have been tackled, at the challenges have been overcome, that is the Navy SEAL rule. Accept tough situations and push through adversity. So you want to apply to that in your own project whenever you feel like this is a mission impossible. The way you should approach it or reposition yourself to look at it is look at it in an angle that everything was impossible, the world that we live in today, for someone who has started that journey as a pioneer. So you are someone who is taking that same wisdom pearl, driving that same unknowns, taking the same mission impossible challenge in your own passion project to dream big, to achieve big, and let me know how that turns out to you. Have you attempted something which has repositioned yourself? Which absolutely failed mission impossible, but irrespective, you have done it. I would love to unfold your story on Passionate Pulse podcast. If you have that great strength, I'd like to invite you on the Passionate Pulse podcast. We would love to unfold your story in front of a community and help them see the different example of achievement where there was a mission impossible, but you have come in as a hero or have become an unsung trail to walk towards. When I talk about the slow is smooth, smooth is fast model, and if you have to relate which model or which company has done this or use this particular mantra and succeeded, it is a Netflix. They absolutely adopted this rule and have really moved very methodologically to reduce the mistakes and achieve the success faster. It is slow in many a sense, but at the same time, there are very few mistakes that you can observe in the Netflix model, and the success rate is more versus failure rate. Initially, Netflix was what? It was a DVD rental or relatively a very small market that it was focusing to. But as the technological market was evolving, they moved their vision, they transformed themselves to the streaming. And from there to licensing content, to studying certain user behaviors, and gradually investing in, original programming, which is the in-house cards for them, which something that we had never thought of, that Netflix will one day drive into the production house and build something a very dominant platform without overextending resources, without overexceeding the budgets. So they have been, a perfect partners to look at when it came down to analyzing and creating a right revenue channels and also building something that they had not thought about. The only mantra that they adopted was slow, slow, it's smooth. They were very smooth in their execution. They were slow because they were investing time in learning, they were investing time in futuristic visions and finding out what will align. It took them a time to come to the board, but once they were on the board, they were unbeatable partners. And that is what you should be looking at and moving forward to. And the other important factor when every startup to succeed is unless they are very action oriented and a very detail oriented, they're not gonna make unicorn, right? The example, perfect example to look at it, and which company has approached the bigger problems, created a great outcomes, and have really spanned their attention, stretched themselves too much on their details, is an Apple. Steve Jobs, I think, have done a legendary job in paying attention to the details, from the user friendly design, which was very out of the league for the tech savvy products, from building that iPhone with a very easy to operate way for the work phones, which absolutely skipped the BlackBerry market, to even sleek packaging. Look at the packaging of an Apple. Everybody would like to, save those Apple packaging and use it or repurpose it for some other DIYs, and the finesse in every material that they have brought in and the elegance, I think that wouldn't have happened if there were no attention to detail. Not only differentiating Apple with this attention to detail way, but also there was an unparalleled customer journey which Jobs achieved, which Apple has focused, giving that extraordinary experience and feeling you out of the blue. That is what the Apple success story is all about. Of course, the product is wonderful. The engine is working the way it should be, but it has gone above and beyond in terms of an experience. So the Apple became a fashion statement. It also became a legendary statement and a pricey tag that it attached to. But at the same time, it made it very easy to adopt for a common user by adding amazing billing plans, that it initially partnered with AT&T and T and went above and beyond to, make sure that every individual today is just not dreaming, but feeling that they're living those dreams. So that's the Apple journey to talk about, starting from building products to user adoption, as well as, creating that high notch market for themselves that others could never compete with it. So, of course, there were a lot of efforts that have gone in terms of every single way, but that's where once they decided to put that attention and prioritize that as a focus way, that's when all this empire could be built. The wonderful example that I like to mention, since we are beginning this particular year on a very high note, is never quit. And that is a perfect example to look at as a Nike, a long tradition company, long perseverance and a grit that the moment I say Nike as a brand, and a long term success when everybody talks about a Nike, right? So Nike's journey to this global dominance wasn't also easy. That also failed in early of his years. The founders field Nike faced supply chain issues, to lawsuits, to even fierce competitions that was standing very tall in front of a Nike. But the company's success lied, just do it. You know, that was their ethos. They are not just saying the statement, just do it, but they actually lived it. And that's where this, internally and externally, the Nike appealed and create that determination and push through this adversity, whatever that they were facing during 80, 84, 89, 89 times. That particular 5 years were very tough for it, but they pushed through it. And today, Nike remains a ladder in the sportswear, due to whatever commitment and the innovation that it has created around the marketing channels, the publicity ways, and the user adoption ways that, that they're tapping into. There is a lot to learn from it. But I would like to end my show on this particular note, saying that never quit. Learn like a seal, execute like a seal, and stay at your passion project with a great mission at it. And I'm sure you will achieve a success that you are looking forward to. So let me know how this episode has turned out to, what you're prioritizing in this particular 2025 year, and whether you need an accountability partner. Join and sign up to our particular project that we are unfolding in this new year. Sign up to the newsletter. You will get to know about the challenge in the second week of January. And from there, we will be working on month to month basis for free of cost. And let me know how you would like to grow your passion project. Is there any other helpful technique that you like to learn from this podcast? You like to learn from our templates? Which project that you are deep diving? What help you are seeking forward to? Which particular cornerstone episodes you like to hear so that you can boost your passion project very fast? What you like to learn more? Which platforms or which efficiency areas you are looking forward to solve your challenges? And we can bring in our expertise, our year long success recipes to you and tell you to knock or tell you to exactly tune into which all areas or which all products that can boost your efficiency. Of course, nevertheless, there are workshops opening up. Stay tuned to Passionate Pulse podcast and you will get to hear more about the workshops. If you are someone who is looking forward to scale up your business, there is a podcasting 101 live workshop that I'm conducting starting from 18th of January. It's a 6 weeks of program. Every Saturday we'll sit through and we'll work on our program. It will be a workshop where you will be getting hands on experiences and also you'll be getting some great learning practice sessions through which you can unfold your podcasting journey. If you're someone who is looking to establish a personal brand, if you're someone who is looking to scale up your business, if you're someone who is looking forward to deep dive into podcasting and gain some authority in certain fields, absolutely, that's a way to go in today's market. And that's a easy to spin wheel. It just you need to learn how. And that how to is an exercise that we'll be doing in podcasting 101. Do sign up on passionatepulse.com and enter into that particular workshop if you are very keen to do it by yourself way. or if you're very keen to learn certain major tactics and find out the right execution engine for you. We are here to help you. Well, till then, enjoy. Start this year on a very high note and looking forward to end this particular year on a high note. Then stay tuned to Passionate Pulse Podcast Bootstrap Banter episodes as well as Bootstrap Banter workshops that we are looking to unfold for you and keeping your passion projects alive, giving you the accountability partner for free of cost through this podcast. Let me know what you would like to hear more. Till then, stay passionate and Happy New Year. Are you ready to amplify your voice and grow your business or a personal brand? Imagine reaching thousands of listeners, sharing your passion and making an impact, all through your very own podcast. Join our upcoming workshop, Podcasting 101, designed just for you. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur, a seasoned professional, or just passionate about sharing your own story, we will equip you with all the tools that you need to start your podcasting journey. Don't miss out. Visit passionatepulse.com/workshops and do secure your spot today. That's passionatepulse.com/workshops. Let's make your voice heard.